up in frames like a motherfucker.
Good start.
Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Late Night Dominion, episode 16. I'm your host, Aegon, and take it away, Beetle.
All right. I probably just need to pause this thing. I'm freaking out here. All right. Welcome to Late Night Dominion, episode 16. We're still doing stuff. We're a man down with Nixus being gone and hitchhiking across all of Canada, as far as I'm concerned. But we've still got a lot of familiar faces. We got Blank Space up here, looking skinny. You got Aegon, got the ginger fro representing, and then we have my I'd like to consider him a Uncle Honores.
Nice. Nice. You're
and he's always welcome.
You're grounded.
And yeah, we're gonna let Blank take it away here. Get into some news. Get into some stuff. Be sure to be active in the chat. And yeah, give us those questions. Chicken Juice is back, and Chicken Talk will be at the end of the show. Take it away, Blank.
Awesome. So, as always, this is your Wildcast. It's weekly. It's live. We give you everything you need to know about Wildstar all at once. Compressed down, vomited back out. We're going to talk a little bit about Wildstar Wednesday. Bye beta, and to infinity and beyond. We're going to talk briefly about the future of community events. Please make sure to follow this Twitch channel. We all have wonderful, fun tweets, so go check us out there. And make sure to like our stuff on Facebook. Of course, the first link that you guys are going to get is the official one, which is the Wildstar Wednesday State of the Beta. I do believe that was published by, the Beta Pope himself, Dapper Donatelli. If you haven't seen it, go read over it. If you're feeling lazy, just hang out and we'll tell you everything you need to know. We're going to give you a cool little scene. Last week we had I don't remember what the hashtag was. It was for Bardic. A lot of you made submissions and put them on Twitter. What we said was Andres got to go check out Carbine, and the only picture he got out of there was a picture of Bardic's hands. So we said, go ahead and take a picture of your hands on your keyboard and send them on in for shits and giggles. You guys should be seeing a scene here now. It's looking like
Aegon might be breaking.
Aegon's everything is dying.
We're seeing some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
The right foot, left hand, outstanding. That person's going to definitely kill me in PvP.
Yeah, that was Yuki. I remember that one. I was laughing. We got
like
Trix using the trackpad.
Doesn't that look like the Shadow Puppet unicorn thing, too?
Yeah. There's Fax with a fake hand. That was good.
Rafe, I told him,
yeah.
Rafe, he strategically placed that fingernail clipper to let people know that he keeps care of himself.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Keth trying to hide his sexiness. Shell as well.
Mm-hmm. Hope you guys are enjoying these submissions. There are some funny ones here. There's
Drew is
my
with
favorite troll.
Oh my god. Is that like a wrist pad?
There is with three or four mice.
I never saw that one.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, here you go.
Gloves.
So hot they need gloves.
Aegon with the old school G15.
Dude, you're right.
The monster G15, as we called it.
Look at Arrowwolf.
Oh, yeah, with the mic near his hand so he can show his sweet
nice
style.
Light it, background lit and everything.
Yeah. Bart had to show off the trackball.
At home.
Yeah, and the big
gaming laptop. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice.
I happened to be in turntable at the time.
There it is. 2 mice.
So, God, that
Not
mouse.
one, but 2. 2 of them. Those are Transformers, in case you guys didn't know.
Yeah.
Good God.
I can't.
The
They have,
mouse
like,
looks
the
more
little, like,
complicated than my
screw
first
things.
car.
All right, was that all of them? Was mine the last one?
I think that's the last one. Yep.
I
Okay.
think so.
So those were the submissions from Bardic Tunnel Syndrome. Thanks for playing. It
Awesome
was a lot of
creativity.
fun. But,
Nice, well done.
Back into the news here. There was a small video Pokket, discussed something else irrelevant nobody cares about. And then, of course, Wildstar Wednesday, her views on that. You guys are going to get a link. You should definitely check it out. Big hearts to Pokket. There was mcvuk.com. I'm not sure what that is, but we found the interview Frosty had. They were talking about wanting to change the genre. One of the cool quotes that I pulled out of there was, we've had people that's worked on World of Warcraft, City of Heroes, Warhammer, and it's easy for us to identify any of those games' weaknesses and address them, says Frost. I'm not going to name names, but there are a lot of crappy MMOs out there. At least, you know, they're being honest about stuff as they go. TenTonHammer had a small article about Wildstar Wednesday. Again, we're going to talk about this. That is our main point this evening. But here's the link. Go check it out. It was a good article. You guys are going to get another scene here. Oh, yeah, that's right. Twitch, the reason the Twitching might be kind of laggy and whatnot is whenever there's a big esports thing, all their bandwidth gets eaten up. So if there's 250,000, 300,000 people watching some tournament somewhere, some of us regular folks have to deal with that.
I'm watching the
Seems to
Scandinavian team take it. Alliance.
I know, right?
Sorry, had to get that in there.
Choose your own adventure. The pitch you guys are seeing, what we have for you is one of the things we talked about was group-oriented content called adventures. You queue for them like you would a dungeon, but they're not necessarily dungeons. Decision-making and pathfinding were heavy points hit on by Carbine, as well as the length of these adventures being up to 2 hours. So, as part of a Vine where they were, you know, being silly, you get to see a couple of those. Choose your mission. There was a tweet. Oh, Beetle, go ahead.
Sorry, a little late there. I was just gonna say,
It's okay.
with this choose your mission thing, it kind of, I don't know how deep it could be. I mean, it says choose your mission 27, so level 27, mission 27 kind of thing. But I wonder if it's gonna be as shallow as the dialogue options throughout the story for Guild Wars 2, where it's like, what do you want to do? You want to go up this hill, or do you want to take it over here, or something like that? So it's interesting. I'm not sure how single-player story they're going to do, you know what I mean? But it'd be, I mean, it's just a little thing. We can speculate on it all day, you know. But, Blank, what do you think?
It definitely seems to be something that they're incentivizing specific play. It's not just, it's not just a dungeon. And you're going to be able to, it sounds like it's going to be very specific. You're going to decide, you're going to go in and it's going to take you 2 hours to do blah. I don't want to say these could be, our hard modes or something like that, but it's definitely something very unique. It kind of messes with my mind because it's like, okay, a story being told through dungeons and raids, that's progression. An adventure adds another layer to that we're not necessarily used to, and I definitely am not, because I'm still trying to wrap my mind around what is this thing going to bring that a dungeon doesn't already bring us. Okay, if you want to do something specific in a dungeon, you could. How do they narrow that scope to make it an adventure? Who knows? But, Aegon, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, they could go... number one, I hope that they expand on whatever story, they're telling at that point of whatever you're leveling. But, adventures, maybe they're going to be something kind of like Rift's Instant Adventure kind of thing, where, it sends you to parts of the world that spawn adventure stuff for a limited amount of time while you're on that. Then it goes away and resets itself again later on for someone else to do it. that might be what they're trying to do with this. Whether they do it or not, we have yet to see. We'll have to see what it is. I don't think it's going to be a dungeon thing or anything. I got a feeling it's going to be world related in some way, outdoors, or maybe a small cave, or something generalized in a certain area.
Okay. Moving on from adventures, we wanted to take a moment, and there was a tweet that came from Troy that said he was going through some real life stuff and having a rough time. So us here at Late Night Dominion, as the GM, of Subterfuge Vanguard, we wanted to say, we wish you well. We hope things are getting better, and the Wildstar community is always there for you. So, when things are better, we're looking forward to, seeing your fun vines and tweets again here real soon.
Love you, Troy.
Yeah.
The last part that we had for news this week was I got to be a part of a big megacast for Mog Nation's Wildcast. It was their 10th episode. I got to sit down with them, and we're going to give you the link. It was really cool to be a part of this big community effort where there's a bunch of people that are like super fans, really excited about the game, get to kind of cross-pollinate and talk about stuff both on and off the record. It was a lot of fun, and I got to say that a podcast is so much easier. It's just nice to be able to be like, okay, we're going to take 5 minutes, and I'm going to pick my nose, and I'm going to go over there, like I can do things, I can fart, nobody's going to know, whereas this is live, and it's like,
nobody ever knows.
Cut.
Right.
Can I get a cut?
Oh,
Been farting the whole time.
yeah. I see all the Troy hearts in there, so what I wanted to do, we had a cool reveal wanted to throw out there. So I got a lot of cool stuff, and we're trying to get really cool stuff to be able to give away and do fun, unique stuff with the other, Wildstar fans out there. But I got a package, and it came from Santa Claus. I'm not sure, but before I got my pre-made drink, and whoever sent that to my Wildstar Central email said, "Hey, Blank, you always get up in the middle of the show to make a drink. Why don't you pre-make it?" Well, that's a fantastic idea. I will pre-make my drink, but I needed a cup to put it in. Like what Santa Claus brought me.
The suspense is killing me.
It's a pretty cool little cup. So tonight, the redacted from
Awesome
Twitter
cup.
was the boss cup here, and I'll spin it around. Sorry, trying to see what I'm doing while I spin here.
Drops it.
Oh my god, that would be horrifying.
J-Tall knows. J-Tall knows already.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're going to fill up my Chua cup here.
Bombs optional.
Yeah, no, I was gonna just take a second too. Blank got his cup, and Santa brought me. I know it's a Granok, but it's still sweet. Finally got a Wildstar shirt. Thanks, Uncle. And yeah, just a couple quick shout outs to some gear we got.
But yes, and we are going to talk about the conventions and whatnot coming up, but we've already warned Carbine. When PAX comes, we're getting the swag. It's just like, where are the boxes? We've been talking to you guys for like ever now. Just hand it over. Just hand it over.
Blank's already talked about pulling the fire extinguisher, and then I'm supposed to shove it down my pants. I mean, we're coming at days and days of robbing.
I don't even think I'm allowed in the convention center anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too much free booze.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Well, hello, Carbine folks, for stopping by. Good to see you. Hope you enjoy the show.
If you get a chance to remind all the community people they need to pack one more suitcase for all the lost stuff they're going to lose.
You got to bring a bag that's just your swag bag that you come home with. My Wildstar bag is still over there. Like I'm gonna see if I'm gonna grab it. I still use it when I'm
Just be like
There's
me and
a
only
buckshot.
pack one shirt, and then just start wearing the shirts you get. That's what I did 2 years ago. I just brought one, and then I just started wearing all the shirts that I picked up around PAX. So you're gonna need if you're swag hunting, you're gonna need another bag. I almost couldn't fit everything last time I came back, but unfortunately I can't go this
year. Don't sell your
year.
lanyards. That's the other thing. Don't sell your lanyards. People will be like, "Oh, dude, I'll give you $10," and you're like, "Oh, sure." And then you don't have cool lanyards. You got to get the crappy ones to have it there. So if you want to be cool, if you want to be cool, keep all your cool swag. Unless you're like us and you're just going to give it away to everybody.
Or give it to me.
Don't Chua wish you had some? Anyways, okay.
Oh, that's bad. Nice.
Never
God.
again.
Oh.
Wildstar Wednesday. Let's get into the main topic of the week here. What does it mean? A lot of stuff was put out. We're going to kind of break it down, get into the meat of this, and everything you need to know, again, right here. So the first big topic, quest completion bar. Instead of you kill mob, it's closed, you touch it, you tag it, you own it, you kill it, it gives you 50 XP. They're changing it. You're going to do a quest, and you're going to kill things, and they're going to fill up your completion bar. You can choose to go after larger but more time-consuming XP objectives, or smaller but faster XP objectives. Of course, this is from a solo perspective, and that's what I just said. Depends on your point of attack, solo versus group. So, before we jump on into concerns, Onrez, quest completion bar. Thoughts?
Yeah, I was just curious, for a point of reference, if you had to pick a couple of games, and you guys are much wider gaming experience than I have, do you have some examples of games that are either have been played or are currently being played that follow this format instead of the previous format? I just think sometimes if we can give them an example of what it is and what it isn't, it's easier for people to understand where the change is coming. So is there a game out there that you guys could say, well, it's about 85% A and 15% B?
Right. Yeah, there's not necessarily a game that only does it. I know Guild Wars implemented it with their recent status tracker of their dailies and certain things with their Renown Heart system. The bar would go up as you killed certain mobs that went towards this Renown Heart, as you completed certain things that went towards this Renown Heart, and you saw the bar going up. There weren't quest indicators on these mobs. There weren't anything like that. And the big thing with a change to this, I feel, is having just the bar there and knowing what your quest is. It lets the player feel like they're exploring and they're free. There's not something that says, go kill 10 yaks, go kill 10 lizards. There's a bar there that says, please pacify enemies in this area. That then the player's like, you know what, yeah, I'm in control. This is much better. They're not telling me what to do. I know what I'm doing. So it's given that little effect in their head like, yeah, player control. But as it said, larger mobs will probably be the better idea if you're in a group because you can take them down a larger mob much quicker, XP quicker kind of thing. But, yeah, it just gives that little effect in their head. Blank?
It's a cool little incentive, and when we see numbers, we think we kind of compartmentalize it. I think we're getting feedback. Can you guys check your stuff? So you see 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10. For some reason, there is the subjective feeling of watching a bar over a number. We like to see something fill up and get completed than 1 of 2 of 3 of 4 complete. So it's this cool incentive, and honestly, I couldn't tell you why it feels like that, but even me as a hardcore gamer, like, I know that feeling of being like, I'm almost there, boom. Feels so much more cooler than 9 of 10, 10 of 10, 49 of 50, 50. Before I moved on to concerns, did you guys, I did want to mention, you were asking for 2 different systems, Onrez. in World of Warcraft, I'm going to talk about this in the concerns, you were able to go, say, as your Frost Mage, and you would go to an area that was congested with like lots and lots of mobs that were around your level or maybe even higher, and you were able to farm them very, very quickly because of your class skills. You would tag them before anyone else, and then if anyone else came along and hit them, it didn't matter. They were yours. There were specific ways to actually do power leveling like that. That is close tagging, quest completion sort of stuff. In Guild Wars 2, this is where my concern is how large of a group can get experience at once. My guild was a world versus world guild with over 200 people. We farmed Doliacs kind of as an accident. After the first 18 hours, a lot of people kind of went to bed. And I was like, well, there was some credit that you got for completing a Doliac run. And I said, well, I'm just going to do that right now over and over just to generate this while people are sleeping. Ended up realizing it was giving like a 5 to 10, it was like a 5% or more or higher return. And was like, wow, this is actually faster than anything else. The concern there was we basically had 50 to sometimes over 100 people because you just had to be in the area to complete that quest. Doing it over and over and over, we had the highest population of people that were all leveled up because of that. So that's one of my concerns. Are we just going to run around and complete these things in just big, huge groups, and that's going to be the best way? Vito, what are your thoughts? Vito,
lots of sound.
No, I'm dumb. I'm just dumb.
You're
Sorry. You know. All right. Now we got that over with. I'm the smartest person here. Just kidding. Honors is way smarter than me. All right. So the concern is Blank's talking about Doliac farming in World v. World. And for those of you that didn't know, it was a Doliac that it was a what do you call it? A cow, basically, that walked from point A to point B, and as long as you walked this thing there, you got XP. Then another one would spawn, and you'd walk it back to the keep, you got XP. So this is an example of a repeatable quest. My concern with this is the system that they're talking about here is if the bigger mobs yield a higher return on your quest, are they also going to be returning a higher yield on the XP? So someone may be completing the quest and getting the quest XP, but since they killed more lesser mobs on the way there, is there going to be a gap between someone that can kill only the large mobs and gain the large mob XP as opposed to the small mob XP? Just a little concern there, and Blank is dirty for farming Doliacs. That's why I got completely taken out of the game, and you don't get XP for taking Doliacs anymore at all. So let's all go play Guild Wars 2. Actually, just wants to play. All right, go.
To be correct about that, it got patched because somebody else told everybody about it. We just thought that was intended, and there was a big concern because we were like, "Is this right? We're not sure." And like, I made everybody stop, and I was like, "Everybody stops right now. Write a report." Everybody writes a report, and then I was like, "Okay, we're good." If they get mad at us, they get mad at us. But everybody wrote a report right now.
Yeah, the thing was about it is World v. World, we're talking about Guild Wars 2 too much, sorry. World v. World had a set cap, and it became no longer that people were fighting in World v. World, but that our entire population was running Doliacs between freaking camps. You have like 3 people trying to fight, and everybody else is like, bro, I got like 2 more levels. Give me a second. That keep can wait. So it's like, no one was fighting. Everybody was just like, oh, you guys have that Doliac over there? Yeah, that's fine. You guys take that one. We keep this one. And we'll just keep doing it. Like, it just became, we couldn't fight.
We had it timed. We literally had it timed so we could get the gold and the silver out of specific camps. We literally maximized it. It was ridiculous. But anyways, back on topic here. The next big section that we want to talk about is mob tagging is being removed. The experience per mob death will be based on the amount of damage a player contributes to that kill. A couple things that I put up here was, does this really incentivize helping someone else in the game world? If someone else is tanking or taking a mob, why don't I just come by and burst the shit out of it to take all the XP? Because if it's based on the damage, I'm not in a group with them. Some dude goes up, taps it, and I've got the ability to just blow it up. He tanks it. I get XP. I mean, those sort of things, if it was to actually work like that and potentially be exploitable or a way to level, of course we'll deal with it. But I just wanted to, put that out there. Does it really incentivize that? I don't know. Beetle, what are your thoughts?
For me, it goes both ways on here. So you either have, mob tagging, which then you're sitting there and all of a sudden everything you're attacking is only yours. You're about to die. Anybody running past you's like, well, I'm not getting credit for that anyway. He can die. It incentivizes then, I have this quest too. I can help this guy. And then it helps honestly with the whole like server community. Like, you're not pissed at people for stealing your mobs and tagging them all. You're able to help out. The only thing that could be exploited with it is, this new quest completion bar. If it's only going based off of the kills of these monsters, you pop it once and someone else kills it, you pop it once, someone else kills it, your completion bar is going up. And that's, these two things feed off each other in such a way that, do you go for the, people not being pissed off because everybody's stealing everything? Am I able to just tag things in a way that I'm doing damage and I'm tagging it for quest completion?
I mean, let's be honest. I put it down here, and I want to get into that. Would it be possible to power level by just tagging and AoE farming like ice mages in World of Warcraft? What if, and these are, I say it as a concern, and it's something I know, of course, Carbine is looking at, but when you mess with systems, I look at how they affect everything. If I have a quest to go and kill so much stuff, and we're a hardcore guild, or we want to get certain people up really quickly. Well, why don't we take one tank and a bunch of these people, put them in, somebody tags it, the other people burst it all down. You run around, your quests are getting completed quicker. You're able to complete an area and then move on very, very quickly. So with the tagging not being there, I understand it's one of those social aspects that, it helps incentivize and that sort of thing. But, again, I look at how will this be exploited? How will somebody find the way to Daliak Farm in Wildstar and be the first person, to max level? Instead of it being, 150 hours, which is what they want it to be, somebody's able to find a way around the system and they're max level in 60. Beetle, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I always get these thoughts after I'm done talking, because then I stop talking. I'm just like, oh wait, Blank's talking, but I have something else to say. And Chrissy, she said it in chat, is what if the quest completion bar isn't only based off of the mob you've killed, but also a percentage of the damage you did to it that's what's going into the quest completion bar. Alright, so if I kill this mob, I gain 10 XP, but if I come over and I tag it and hit it twice, I get 2 XP, or I did 2k damage, then it's only going up 2. That kind of thing, and that would probably help out the tagging thing if that's what they are doing. So, yeah, just quick thoughts on that. That would be some way to battle that.
Alright. Going to move on to the next part of the mob tagging in groups. Support characters. Very interesting vernacular for this. These are your healers, buffers, support, not just healers. The XP distribution in a group is already based on the amount of damage the group does to a target and is shared among all members of the group. So, get into a group and sit there, do nothing, and get XP? I mean, that's the other thing too. We've got one tanky person and 2 DPS, 1 healer, and then Blank is sleeping because he's been up for 18 hours, and we cycle on and off who does who does damage, who doesn't do damage in the group. I know I'm going to piss off some people, but that's what I think. I mean, if I'm in a group and I don't have to do really anything and still get XP, well, I'm going to go take a nap because I've been up for 18, 20 hours. I'm going to take 4 hours, and then I'll do the damage, or I'll be the healer while someone else sleeps. Again, throwing things out there. Aegon, what are your concerns with this?
We don't know how it's going to work, but it's definitely going to force anybody who in the support role to always have to group up. So, I mean, if you're looking to support and you don't have anybody to group with at the time, you're SOL in terms of getting XP. As for what it can do, it can definitely lead to that situation where people will be taking turns. If as a healer, all you have to do is sit there and cast an occasional heal and do nothing else and rack up your XP. Are they going to come find some way to combat that? I hope so. Maybe healers have to do some sort of damage to the mobs. We'll see how they implement it.
Why would they do damage though?
I mean, if they want to keep it the healer just from because you think about it, if you're going to do the healer, they won't want the healer to do nothing but sit there and do nothing but heal. Because you can exploit that by not being there. So, because who knows what the people are going to do, and people macroing crap, which we've seen all the time, and especially when it comes to systems like this, it could be a dangerous road to go down. Good. What do you think, Beetle?
Yeah, when I read this, I think that healers everywhere just rejoiced, and support players everywhere were just like, "You're damn right." If I'm grouped up, if I'm a healer, I don't want to have to walk up and be like, "Ka, ka," and then go back to my healing. And if I'm in a group with a healer, you're damn right I want you clicking my name the whole time and spamming whatever you have, because it's just, if they can do it correctly and then it just kind of siphons through the damage, heck yeah, the healers are healing, you know what I mean? And if healers are having a problem soloing, you just have skills that if it's targeted on an ally, it heals. If it's targeted on an enemy, it can damage. I mean, games have done that in the past. There's even, I think it's Omni Knight in Dota 2. He's got his big thing that heals allies, but it also does a crap ton of damage if it's on an enemy. So that way you're not swapping out your skill bar. You have, I've got, Guild Wars 1, Smite. Well, Smite I can use on myself, Smite I can smite on an enemy. You know what I mean? So it's just, I think healers everywhere are just like, oh yes, I can finally do my job. I can keep Onrez alive, and maybe he won't die every 2 seconds. I don't know, but
every 2, yeah.
Shots fired. Sorry.
Nice.
Onrez, what do you think?
Well, I'm kind of glad you shots fired, because I'm going to completely and utterly disagree with Beetle. In fact, if we could rewind for the last 2 minutes and put a negative sign in front of his whole comments, that would be my comment. So, but with parentheses around his comments. So, I, at one time, played a healer. I'm really bad at it. But when I look at the limited action set, and for what little we know, when I look at this as a not great healer, this does not, in its current format of how does it read, encourage me to play healer at all. Because if I'm in a group and I'm with, Blank, who doesn't take any damage because he knows his character, what am I going to throw over heals on him just so I get credit for doing something in the party while he's taking things down, versus if I'm paired with Beetle and I decide maybe to heal him moving forward or not, I may be engaged in having to play. So how do I rate both of those play experiences from the healer? Beetle and Blank, hey, they're making corpses, that's their job. They're getting experience and their bar is moving as we can expect it. The healer's experience is completely different in both of those. So I see a concern in my point of math. How do I get the same experience where Beetle and Blank are getting the same amount of their bars moving up, but based on what I am contributing, how is my bar going to move? And so I think that would be my concern moving forward, is hopefully we get, good testing by whoever's testing and some clarity, because that's a completely different healing experience for the same group dynamic. And I'd hate to think that I'm penalized, or what I can see in chat, looking for only semi-good player to heal in group so I get decent experience. Not willing to partner with leets. mean, that's, is that what you're going to have to do so you actually get to do stuff? That would be my concern.
I mean, I'll let Blank go first, but I mean,
here,
Bring it, son.
There was another section I wanted to mention before we fall too far down that rabbit hole, is the hybrid. That got mentioned briefly. I want to throw that out there. They mentioned support characters. What if it is, the ability to put down your telegraph, and if you stand in it, it heals, but if enemies stand in it, it damages. Is that going to change your percentages? I just wanted to throw that out there. Also, they mentioned, mob tagging has been removed. Now, what if I'm not in a group and I heal you? They did not mention this at all. What if I'm not in a group, somebody's dying, and I heal them to full because I'm a support character? Do I still get XP? Because that's a big question mark. We don't know.
I think it would maybe siphon through.
Okay, but they didn't say it, so that's why I wanted to mention that. So if some dude's dying, I'm not in his group, I can't get him to invite me, and I don't know what the invite button is for some reason. I heal him to full, open tagging system. Where's my, what do I get from that? Yeah, okay, damage sharing XP is cool, but go ahead, Beetle. Go ahead and rock on with your bad self.
Well, no, my whole thing there was, if I can go back to all those things Honor has said, and I like Zilva saying I like listening to Honor as and only understanding half of it. It takes a while to get used to him, but it's with
I'm acquired taste.
With what he said, I feel like Honor he's being greedy as a healer, 1. 2, he's trying to describe a paladin.
I can either confirm or deny that I was a healing paladin. Bad choices were made early in my WoW career. Thank you for bringing that up.
So if we go to XP distribution in a group is based on the amount of damage the group does to a target and shared among all members of the group, and you said, all right, I'm looking for a mediocre player, wouldn't the better player with higher DPS yield you more XP per minute? If you're the healer in that situation?
Only if it's a true divide by total group. But if the key focus is if there's a group that does X damage and we get X XP, there's nothing in that says that it's evenly distributed in the group. My concern is Beetle does 85% of the hard work to kill the mob. James overheals for 15%. Therefore, Beetle's the champion. Yeah, math. That's it. Mathlete. And that would be only my concern is that we haven't figured out. Is it divide by 4 because there's 4 of us? Well, then Blank's /follow concept. Let's go take a nap. That's a win. That's a huge winning strategy. But that doesn't seem like. Why would they leave that open? They shut that down in Diablo 2 in a hurry.
Right, and on that point, if you're describing a trickle-down system, so-and-so does 85% of damage, I get 10%, and my aroused hour mount gets 5 or some shit, it's then I would agree with you because I feel healers and supports are great parts of the team. It's just that when I read this, I got, distributed, and of course I put it in my mind, distributed evenly because I'm a nice guy kind of thing. Now,
you're a fair person, Beetle. Why wouldn't you think that? You're a fair guy.
Why can't we get group options? There's always going to be loot group options. Let's have XP group options. 85% to the first attacker, 10% to the healer because he's not that good.
Looking for a healer that will take abuse and only take 15% of my XP.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah. I bet you can hire those guys.
Gentlemen, what my concern is, again, not the systems of design. I do, I put all my trust and faith into the development team to do the math and do the nerd and figure out how these things should go. I just want them to be aware of if you're going to have these systems designed a specific way, realize not only the impact, but there are going to be people like all of us here who are going to be trying to find the best way to exploit it. And If that means that we have somebody tag the mob, and then I'm out of a group, and we burst it down, and we reset, and we redo that every 30 seconds, because it gives them. People will find it, and just be aware that you make these changes because it looks like a good iteration. It's with the feedback that the people say they want, and it sounds like a stronger design aspect for your game, and it gives a lot of better gameplay, and it's good for social and blah blah blah. Just be aware that there are going, especially when you make it open tagging, when you take a little bit of those constraints off, they have huge implications. Beetle. Go ahead. Let's hear the last note.
Yeah, one more thing before we move on is just with these changes, and you can see myself and Honor as kind of going back and forth. These are the things that if they go one side or the other, guys like me and him, Blank, Aegon, we're going to try to take advantage of that. And I know Honors has got the calculator right here, and it's just like, if you got to do it the right way, or we're going to come at you. And we're going to find something to screw up.
I get better XP if Beetle almost dies, and we kill the mob, versus Beetle not taking any health, and the mob dies. Hell, I'll let him practically die all the time.
I don't know if I like you giving me CPR every mob fight. It'd probably be a little.
Sandlot. We'll give you a little.
Yeah.
Hugs and kisses after every battle.
All right, so I guess we can move on. Carbine, you've heard,
We wrapped it up. Just some thoughts. We'll see. Of course, I'm sure this will probably be something that we talk about, especially in the Wildstar town halls that we're planning here in the future. So look for, some more good dialogue between people, where they stand, what they think, their concerns. And, hopefully weeks down the road, we get a chance to get maybe a marketing open beta and be able to actually test this crap in theory. So, next big section we have is milestones. First version of the first iteration that they had allowed you to slot passive abilities along active abilities. So you leveled up and you spend. It was tied to stat thresholds needed to unlock them. You need 100 Moxie to gain 1% crit. That is how it initially worked. Unres. Comment?
I was just going to say that I know that they'd already made an adjustment on this that they were very clear with in their patch notes, kind of from the progressions from what we've seen. Until we all get a chance to get our hands on it and see where this lands, I always err on the side of let me spend, because I feel like as players spend, the trajectory of the same splits. You know what I mean? So. With every chance for Beetle to spend 4 points here and 1 point there, but Blank spends 5 here, the at least the possible iterations for a while until the min-maxers get really good at it. At least we get a chance of a bunch of different characters. If they always just drop in the best possible route, I don't feel like we get a chance to experiment and learn. Well, I know why we want 5 in this slot. But what if I went 3 and 2 and tried it for a couple days? Can I find out that maybe there's something different? So I just always like to err on the side of spending if I can.
All right. So, like spending. The second iteration that we got removed the slotting, so no more level up and spend, and you simply unlock the milestones as your stat increased. So you got stats that you had in your gear, and if I remember, is Unidel put up like a whole socketing deal where you could like put your stats in, and it was based on your gear. The player feedback stated, well, they don't like this. We don't like this being a part of the character progression. So where could this go? And this is a big deal. I like to liken this to the talent trees. These are this is an integral part of the game. We're talking about your extra damage, your extra mitigation, all of these sort of things. So the big question is, where does this go? And Beetle put something in here. Beetle, what was your comment about where this could potentially go?
Yeah, so we've seen now with their first iteration and their second iteration, we've seen what they've tried, and now I think with this third iteration, we'll see somewhere between them, or trying to, like Blake said, maybe go back to a skill tree based system. We've seen so many games going away from it recently because it's becoming data. Even Diablo 3, who most of us playing Diablo 1 and 2, skill trees were the game, and then Diablo 3 says the hell with them. So everybody was really confused there where a skill tree is going. So I think we may see, and I know some of you have been following like EQ Next, that kind of stuff, spending points, statting into points. What if you go EQ Next Guild Wars thing where you're gaining points by doing things in the world, or even as specific to, I may gain a certain, what are they called here? Milestone. I may gain a certain milestone for completing a certain boss, a certain quest, a certain area. They could even link these milestones into their path systems. I reached level whatever in my path. Now that's a milestone. I'm able to get this much more damage based on that milestone. So you could say, go kill big bad boss over here. He's super melee. If you beat him, you have possible access to this milestone after so many points spent. So I think they'll do something with possibly buying points, something having to do with the stats as well, and try to meet in the middle somewhere. I know it's a shot out there, but Aegon, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a long shot of where they're going to go, but I mean, I think they may try. I don't know, I'd like to see some kind of in-between system of guild wars and, like this skill trees, but instead of trees, you'll have, so many talents to choose from, and each of those talents cost X number of points, and you'll earn those points by leveling up, completing objectives, completing your path levels, maybe even through rating. You can see that as an interesting system to expanding on your character. What do you think?
Me. Goes to me. Me.
Yeah.
So, JTAL just said a lot of games are removing them because ... players are dumb and pick the wrong things, and then complain they suck. And
Not
what I
any
just
guild
put
I'm
down
in.
what I just put down in the document is play choice isn't always a good thing.
Yeah.
When you have a game like World of Warcraft, and I'm sorry, I do always go back to that. That's what I have the most experience in. They made the trees as balanced as they could, but no matter how much you balance and homogenize them, there are still the best ways to do things for PvE, the best ways to do them for PvP. There's just skills that you use in different places just because of the way that they're built. When you give players a shit ton of choice, it's not always the best, because what you get is, well, I put all of my points into, this secondary stat, and I can't understand why I do no damage and I can't do anything and I just suck. When you give them that illusion of choice, like a talent tree, and say, okay, no matter what you do, this is going to help you, it seems like it's a lot easier. It's less bitching, especially for those who have to read the feedback in the forums, So I like to always see an illusion of choice, but it being pretty structured and handed down. Especially also because I don't like doing lots and lots of maths. I can see that, Wildstar with its, very in-depth systems, we're going to be doing lots of maths, and that makes my head hurt. Beetle?
Yeah, a couple comments kind of concerning JTAL stuff. It's like there's dumb, and then there's like, I was going to say there's dumb and stupid.
Lazy.
That's the same thing, but we've all had that moment where let's just say you're playing such and such character in Skyrim, you go buy some sweet spell, you learn the spell, go to cast it, and you don't even have the mana to do it. You're dumb. Oh yeah, I'm playing a warrior. I can't cast super awesome fireball. If you bring in a skill tree, let's just say warrior and Wildstar, and it could sprout 18 different ways. But if one of them is off tank, DPS, this, and as you come down this tree, either way, you're still, as long as the tree doesn't have, as you're coming down the warrior, it says fireball somewhere, you're not going to be stupid. and you're not going to be crappy in the game. If you hold their hand a little bit but allow for that choice, you could say illusion of choice, yes, then it's still a skill tree, you're still speccing into things, and at the end of the game, I'm still level 45, and I still have the skill points to kill mobs. You know, it's the difference between Skyrim's spell and holding hands and not Path of Exile skill tree, where I'm like, I'm just clicking everything that's close, and then I'm just shooting stuff. So, and you're just like, oh god, what's happening? Not that far along, but it's just, if you hold the hand but bring them to skills and skill trees that they still have customization options, I don't see it as a problem. Andres.
Just real quick, I was going to say, I love the concept, the illusion of choice. I mean, you know, we've heard a lot about Wildstar being, you know, going to be a challenging game, and it's for the 1%. From a rating standpoint at the end, I would just like to know that on the journey, make me make choices and make me live with those choices, or pay or do something to make a different choice, if that makes sense. I mean, I won't get into the concept of the syncs and the respecking and all that stuff, but I honestly think that a player who wants to play their character well should be encouraged to take chances to see if it's a good or a bad combination. And then the behavior modification is, well, I'm hoping to be able to kill this mob by myself, and I just got my ass handed to me. Oh, maybe, son, I need to learn something. You know, I mean, so I don't think that's a bad thing, as long as there's a way for them to make an adjustment that doesn't involve pulling teeth and paying money necessarily out of pocket, for them to make an adjustment and try again. I think players, you know, there's a difference between lazy and stupid. You know, one is curable, and but it still takes a lot of work for someone to decide, I want to take an interest in my character, I want to take an interest in how to play a little bit. But if you're not, you know, if you're just going to, you know, not show an interest in the game, I worry that whether we allow you to make choices or allow the thing to just go automatically, you're still not going to play it very well. So what's the point? So why dumb it down for me? Because we worry about, you know, the other guy who's not interested, I guess.
Yeah.
What I had put, and JTL mentioned, you can't give the choice of bad, good, best. You give the choice of good, also good, and slightly gooder. And that a lot of players will hit the point, and I don't want to call it, it's some sort of ceiling, design ceiling, system ceiling, where if they can't figure it out, they quit. You know, I don't understand why I'm getting my ass kicked every time. I'm done. I'm leaving. You know, so it's I don't know. Going
that's when you have to look up a build. You know, that's when that's when you divide your players between. Are they willing to go towards the next piece of content? Oh crap, my tank isn't doing it right. Can I Google how to get better at Wildstar? Sure I can. And then it says, hey, you aren't optimized for this. I mean, then you're catering to, yes, not every player can dungeon Guild Wars 2. Oh, you can have the stupidest build ever and come into a dungeon, don't matter. It's just, you get to a certain point where it's like, all right, quit, you summoning warrior who wields a bow staff. Like,
right.
Good try.
All right, so we're gonna move on from milestones. Look for this to be something that I definitely drive, because it's a very large system that is core to the game. We're not talking about a small section, like, you know, the smaller ones like crafting and how that affects these other ones, or PvE and PvP. This is a core design that affects everything. So, because it's everything about how you play and how your character affects and interacts with the world. So you'll see me bitching and complaining and or throwing out concerns as we find out more information about this. The big thing, what does this all mean? Bye beta. First big bullet point that I have is conventions are coming up. This is the perfect time to tweak design aspects of the game, while increasing your marketing and brand imaging out at conventions like Gamescom and PAX Prime. I personally believe that it was planned this way. These are big companies with people who sit around with their calendars and figure out how this shit is going to happen. And I guarantee they were like, okay, we're going to have our betas do this. And, we have these big conventions and we got to send people. They have to send personnel to these conventions. And Gamescom is in Germany, and that's the 21st to the 25th of this month. And PAX Prime is in Seattle, and that's the 30th through the 2nd. That's sending a lot of personnel all over the place. Why not say, as an organization, hey, what we're going to do is we're just going to close this big bad boy down. We're going to look at everything. We're going to tweak things. We're going to adjust them. We're going to go out. We're going to take care of some marketing, some branding, get some swag out there. And then, we're going to be able to come back and just, boom, open this big bad boy up with these new things and get some, some big mass feedback. Sorry, someone just mentioned I should come over here. It means we're making a ton of changes, and it won't be ready for a couple of months. So we're not going to get a lot of good feedback, right? From outdated stuff. If these systems are changing and people are like, oh, this, quest reward stinks, they're just like, well, that quest is no longer even in the game. So that was a waste of your time. It was a waste of our time. Let's not waste people's time. So that was what I had to say about the conventions. Andres had to mention something here. Go ahead, Andres.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's not a great way for us as a community, other than maybe email or Twitter or something. If you're going to PAX or if you're going to Gamescom, start talking about when you're going, and, sure, it'll cause some rage and some jealousy, but that feels good. Trust me, it really feels good to generate that. But on the positive side, you'll also find out who else is going. And so I'm fortunate enough to go to PAX, and I'd sure like a chance to meet some people face to face. So I'm not sure what days you'll be there. I'm going to start talking about it on Twitter when I will be there. I'd sure like to try to meet up. We don't know if there's any after hours off conference events yet. Those are always great to try to meet up with people. But I mean, hell, if you're going to be there on Monday, that leaves us Sunday. So I mean, if you're going to be there for Sunday, Monday, then hopefully you're there Saturday, and maybe we can get out Saturday night. So just start looking at everyone's Twitter. If you're going to be at these things, start talking about it so people in the community can find you and get a chance to make those other connections face to face. Great photo opportunities. You create great content for the fan sites that we follow, and you steal swag. And so that's the other as has been seen. Everyone loves swag. You can go no wrong by picking up an extra 2 or 3 of something. So, but start hitting the Twitter, letting us know who and where, which one you're going, and what day you're going to be there. Let us know, because I'd sure like to get a chance to meet anyone of the Wildstar community that's going to be there. I'd love to get a chance to say hi. So,
to follow up what Andres said, we're still organizing this, and it's roughly being put together, and definitely look for the information on Twitter. But I'm going to be out for PAX Dev and PAX Prime. Planning on using Twitter as the main communication tool. You can't miss me because I'm the jackass in a wheelchair who gets to go to the front of the lines. I'm still looking for someone to push me, by the way, and especially if you're good looking. So hit me up on Twitter. If you're a good looking female and wants to push me around, I can get you to the front of any line that you want. But
Nixus wasn't available. Zing!
I know, Nixus.
Got him.
My cute French boy is unavailable till PAX East. So what we are trying to do, and I'm kind of contacting people, is get a bunch of people together and get to meet everybody, both at the Wildstar booth, but then go and see other things. Go check out other panels. Grab lunch together. I want us to get together, and especially that are paying dollar bills, taking time off to go to these things. I want to meet you. I want to sit down. I want to shake your hand, talk to you, go to some other panels, grab lunch, BS. Go out in the town. Get a couple of strippers. Wherever the night goes, we'll let it go. But these are definitely, conventions are a ton of fun, and definitely stealing swag. So that's definitely happening.
Me.
Beetle, go ahead, buddy.
Me. A couple notes on PAX East. And I had some about what J-Tall said, but we're kind of past it, so I don't really want to backtrack anyway. Mr. Fallen Angel says he wasn't able to get tickets. PAX is like any other thing. When me and my girlfriend went out there, I had a 3-day pass. She didn't have anything. So we were going to go scalp some, and if she didn't get one, she was just going to go see the sights, all that stuff. There are people selling those things everywhere, man. Every corner. It's like any football game, any baseball game. You can just, if you're ballsy enough just to fly out there and go on it, there's people selling them all over the place. So there's that. And then for meeting up with people and after-hours stuff, I know a lot of the devs at PAX, they do schedule and say, hey, we're going to be at this bar from this time just getting dinner if anybody wants to stop by, that kind of stuff. I hung out with some of the guys from Cryptic last time I was there. But there's no better place for bars, downtown eating, lunch, dinners, stuff like that, and than Seattle. I mean, the sushi, if you never tried sushi, or if you are a sushi fan, there's like 8 places that are just highly, highly ranked down there, and you can just go eat fish and drink sake all you want and push Blank around in his wheelchair while he's puking on himself or something lightweight. But it's just be sure. I wish I was going this year. I got a lot of stuff going on with work and crunch time, but it's a blast. If you're out there, make sure you hit up with these guys, and make sure Blank and Honras don't go to bed too early.
No. Just make sure to bring bail money. That's what you need to say. Bring bail money in case something silly happens.
Let's probably
do that.
American Express is not taken at most police stations. It's a Visa or a personal check, I hear.
Yep.
If you've never done these, plan to do one. I did some for BlizzCon. One of my old guilds got together for an expansion. Doing these things are tons of fun. You get to meet lots of cool people, and it's just a blast. It's not just about the panels and going and seeing, like Scooter or Troy, or it's the other stuff, because they're there trying to get more people involved. They're trying to get others. They're already like, screw Blank Space. He's already sold. We've got him. He is our heroin addict. They're looking for the other people out there who are like, what's Wildstar? So that's our time to potentially bring these other people in. But not only that, we get to meet other people that are just as excited about this game as we are. So, moving on. Wanted to mention real quick, I don't see if you guys have any comments here. This isn't a full wipe of complete systems. Why is this important? There have been other games, we've seen it, we've experienced it. They wipe a section of the game to design it. We're not talking about, we took a map off, we took, whatever. They took an entire system and put it in the trash. They were like, nope, this doesn't work, or functionality. When they do that, that's when I get scared. If you played Firefall, and there's definitely been rumors of other MMOs that are developing that have trashed entire sections, this is not what's happening for Wildstar. They've tweaked it. They're adjusting. They're taking feedback. It wasn't like, hey, you know what? We're no longer doing adventures because it's too difficult. Throw it in a trash can. No.
Right.
Beetle, comments?
Yeah, I guess this comes back to J-Tall's comment earlier about we don't need feedback, and he says he means Titan. And we meant Elder Scrolls too, right? Yeah, I'm sure we did. What? But it comes back to J-Tall's thing saying we don't need feedback on stuff that we are already changing. It's just not implemented in our builds yet. So we can kind of shutter the doors. We can keep the PAX and Gamescom stuff because that's probably stuff that even their beta testers haven't seen yet. So it's going to be new to anybody. Beta testers haven't been playing it, that kind of thing. So they still have cards in their hand. They're just sick of all these beta testers giving them stuff that's like probably coming in their bug database just like, that's changing, this is changing. Like, they can kind of shutter it, let their little PR thing kind of ride the train here, and we get the classes, we get other things that haven't been shown, And yeah, they've still got cards in their hands. They're just sick of stuff that's being changed.
These are changes to very large systems that will take time to implement before being ready to hand over to the mass beta testers. Next section. In my experience, game developers will shut down larger scale beta operations to work on systems like this. What does that mean? The smaller groups, the friends and family, the core tester, the specialty groups, the UI people, whoever Carbine has said, we want you to help work on specific systems, they'll be around and fooling around with stuff. More than likely, they're still going to be messing with things as they're upgraded. Or maybe not. More than likely, they're still going to be around messing with things. What they'll do is they'll help refine that process until they're ready for the big, 30,000 beta testers to smash into this content again. That brings us into what will happen while beta is gone. We got some cool things here. Anres, before I even go into them, what do you got? What do you think will happen while beta is gone?
Well, here's the thing. I saw the bullet points, and we're going to talk about what Wildstar is going to do while beta is gone. But one thing I want to bring up is, what's the community going to do? I mean, it's now a day plus, and reactions have been kind of all over the place. But this is a question to the people listening live and the people who watch this video later. It's like, we can speculate about what Wildstar, the Carbine's going to do, but you know what? We also need to speculate, hey, community, what the fuck are you guys going to do? Because so far you've impressed the living hell out of us by being involved and doing things and getting involved in contests and content and cross-pollinating websites, all this great stuff. What, you think that's going to stop? No. So
no.
I just wanted to say that before we kind of get into the specifics about what we think Wildstar, its Carbine team will be doing, we should probably also comment what we think the community's doing. I think they're going to do the exact same thing. So at least I sure hope they are. I'm going to do it. I want to be involved, and I hope I'm excited about the community and hoping they'll do more. So.
Right. A comment on the community stuff. You type loud, and I love it so much.
We saw his keyboard. It's nice.
Now that people, beta's closing down, we don't have any chance of being in, getting invites to beta in the near future until someone starts something up again. I think it might be time. People may take breaks. They may kind of, just kind of lurk around the forums now, but I think it might be time to play some games together, or maybe get our old TF2 server humming again so I can shoot Anres more. But there's probably, honestly, from us, we'll probably
more.
Well, yes, that's exactly right, and I'm better than you, man. Come on. I think honestly, from a late night Dominion perspective and our guild perspective, I think we'll try to get some stuff going again, just like we had in the past, and keep people active, keep people playing together, let people, go on the raid call, TeamSpeak, and meet each other, hang out. So we gotta just keep trucking while we got some time to wait and play some games and see if everybody can get better at TF2. Because I'm god awful. Let's be honest. I use one weapon. I just use the bow and arrow because it's so boss. I think Potter's the best in tricks.
I choose the heavy because he reminds me of me running around. That's the only reason why I play it.
Yeah, I think before, it was almost, what was it, like a month ago right after Elden Game, it would just be Friday, Saturday night, people would just hop into the TF2 server and just beat the crap out of each other, so see if we can get Jen back in there with her flamethrower. But, Blank, go ahead.
Yeah.
This is something that we've been working on to do some more community stuff. We were doing community game nights on Sundays, basically turned into people just playing Minecraft and TF2 together. We're kind of set on the same schedule because I've got to go out to PAX, and getting ready for that is kind of this whole big deal. when we come back from that, the plan is to meet all these people, and I'm hoping that the Gamescom people take the same initiative, meet up with each other, say, hey, let's do some cool stuff. What could we do? What are you interested in? How many people do you got? Blah, 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 blah. And then do them. We're going to talk about a couple more of those in the bottom, so hold on to those thoughts about while the beta is gone. There was a request from Matty K. Bitwise wants more puns. Apparently he loves them, so if you're on the Twitter and you're good with the puns, feel free to hit him up. That was a request, so got to honor it. What is going to happen while the beta is gone for Wildstar and information? The things we put down is we can hope for more info about the last 2 classes. Please, 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 Warplot information, professions, hobbies, and maybe we can get some more cool things like live stream from PAX. So anybody want to comment on those things?
Can I just say that nothing in what was splashed on Wednesday covered, like you said, it's we didn't see the entire game go up in review. We really, if you break down yesterday's thing, it was like 2 line items with a kind of a wordy explanation of just 2 line items in a very big game. So I think that there's an awful lot of great things for us to learn about. Can a brother get a handout for professions, for Christ's sakes? Can somebody throw us math people a hug or something?
He didn't want to say nerds.
No.
He almost said it.
No, I wanted to say nerds, but it's just people. I won't even get into it. It's just, there are sites waiting to explode on what ifs on the professions and hobbies.
Right.
Okay, yeah, you want to go to Warplots? I'll tell you about Warplots. I'd tell you about Warplots, but Bardic threatened me. She's scary.
And suddenly ninjas show up and Andres' screen goes black.
She's scary. Yeah, I think her thumb is double jointed too.
Oh goodness, nobody cares about econ trade skills, right, J-Tal? Oh goodness. What I have here is we wanted to mention that community stuff. Town halls are being planned for after the conventions. This is going to allow for Nixus and me. We're going to connect up. There's literally hundreds of people who want to be a part of them. We got to be able to organize. We got to contact them. We have to try to figure out when I can be around, he can be around. When the moderators can be around, we need to find volunteer moderators. It is a very big deal to set up. The last one got put together. It took an entire week of nonstop work on our parts, and there was a whole crap ton of moderators. Let's get it going. After the conventions, we're going to look forward to doing that. Did want to mention that as a part of the Wildstar community, us, we were SVG and, the people here at Late Night Dominion, we're all in the process of planning another charity event. Just got information, because there's a little bit of dialogue going out there with the other active fan sites and communities, organizations. There may be another potential Wildstar-wide community charity event we may be able to do together as a huge flipping big whole. So that's kind of on hold. We were planning to do like a MOBA, submit your guild, we'll have cool prizes, you get, people to donate, and if you win, blah, blah, blah. We were working on something. I also heard that there's a potential for us to do a huge community all-together thing again. So give us some time to try and work that out. Andres?
I would just say that as a whole, I've been involved in a lot of communities, but this has been one of the first communities that maybe I know all the other gaming communities do charity work. I guess I was just fortunate to bump into some people early in my Wildstar socialization effort that were focused on community, and I'm heartened and excited to see that as more groups and more other people start chiming in, that's a thread that seems to be extremely common in the Wildstar community, and that I think that's awesome. I think nothing can hurt us as a community if we're all focused on on the concept of some sort of giving and charity, I think that it just builds community, cross faction, rival guilds that are going to try to kill the boss first in a year or whatever. They'll still work with charity with each other, and I think that's special. I think that's nice.
Nice. Well, again, there'll be more information for that in the upcoming weeks.
Or JTAL could just tell us.
I mean, if you want, if you guys just want to tell us, it's not a big deal. See, I love how they like to stop by and they say shit like, making major changes to crafting. I'm making major changes to items. And he's making major changes to hobbies. Just
I bet you didn't happen.
Scooter's not even here.
J-Tall.
Scooter's not here. It's okay.
Scooter will never see this.
Scooter's behind us. He won't know. He won't even know.
We can definitely edit this out, I think.
Yeah,
we're doing work.
I can't.
Oh, and things.
We can just put in like some sort of little montage in the middle.
Hey, we can put a black bar over your name in chat. They'll never be able to break that.
Yeah, and all this audio that we're talking about, you telling us stuff, can just be overlapped by 50 Cent in the club.
There you
go. All right. With that, we've covered the things we wanted to talk about. We're going to, for the next, we're going to bang into some chicken talk here. Beetle, want to take it away?
Yeah, sure I do. All right, so we've got Chicken Talk, which is the question section of the evening. Chicken Talk says, P.S. I want some swag. Even Chicken's pissed off.
Ouch.
First question tonight is from 9. What do you think the implications of the tagging system will be? Will it mean that there will be a problem with griefers going around and attacking your mobs to get kill credit, or even people fighting your mobs by accident and taking part of your group XP? Blank, go ahead.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And everybody says, it's the Athene method. Listen, I'm saying it officially, Athene, I love you, bro. But he wasn't the first motherfucker to do it. I'm sorry. People have been doing it for a long time. He was just the first dude to make a YouTube video of it. The pro guilds have been doing that crap forever. Anyways, but yeah, that's what I was saying was like I see somebody over there. He grabs a couple mobs, and I have some big crazy AOE, cool beans. I go over there. He's tagged him. They're hitting him. I drop my cooldowns. I do whatever. I get all the credit, and they just laugh. So that was my concern with that.
All right. Anybody else? Okay. Next question is from Zilvis, Z-Man. Chicken, are the guys concerned if the game takes much longer to launch, keeping up with the show / community / and such? The show's going to be here. I mean, there may be times coming up, we got lucky here, Nixus is out wherever, but we have Honores to fill in, so honestly, we can do this show every Thursday, even if there isn't any news, which it's been kind of scarce lately, we can do this. Damn. And we can, instead of the show being an hour and a half, we can BS for 30 minutes, as long as we're giving people in the community a spot to come, a spot to listen to, intelligent talk about this game, and, speculation, anything you guys want to do. We will try to be here every Thursday. Communities, on the other hand, if a game does take too long, there's an influx, there's like a first group of community that comes in, and there's people that start trickling in, and then they become the big group maybe. That can happen, but with communities, people always will fall off, and they may say, I think we have a guildie that said, wake me up when there's more Wildstar info, that kind of stuff. So it really depends on the community. I think a lot of us we'll find other things to do while waiting for the game. Yes, we're all super passionate about it, but we also want it to be a great game. So we have time to wait. I mean, unless I get hit by a truck. I don't, but Honor is.
I was just going to say that, the Carbine team realizes that, by the way that they've already interacted with the community, that they find the fan sites, the people generating content, the people generating excitement, they're valuable to them. I really think that they're good folk and they love gaming, and we have that in common, but it also is a business. And so, I would suspect that the community people, which I find, engaged, and they like to find out what we're working on. I feel like they're gonna have to step up their game, just like some of us in the community may have to step up our game a little bit when we find these dry areas of Wildstar news. Then we need to fucking make our own news then for contests, community events, the get-togethers. Don't get me wrong, if I need to make a headshot, me shooting Beetle in the head montage vine to help fill time during a slow news week, I'll do it. I don't want to do it. It makes me sad to do it. But I'll do it for you, the community.
Well, we'll probably need to do like 15 takes if you need to get a headshot on me. It's going to take you a little while first.
Hey, I'm thinking 15 headsots because the vine takes more than a couple seconds.
That's okay, Beetle.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's okay, Beetle. I'll do it. It'll happen really quickly.
I'm legitimately scared. I'm legitimately scared of Aegon in TF2.
I'm gonna play spy on Beetle's team just so I can turn into other characters on other game, on the other side, and fake kill him. That's it. I'll just run around. Boom. That's Beetle. Here he is.
What I wanted to say about this was the show is always going to be here. We find the news. We break it down. We get, even if there's like 3 or 4, we're gonna still give that to you. That's the whole format of the show. We are your weekly news. If there's 3 fucking articles that are worth a shit out there, wow, I do start swearing when I drink more. Whoever sent that to me,
yes,
on my email, thanks.
Yes, you do.
I know. Mine's dead.
But
Mine's dead.
If they're, my mic's dead?
No, you're good.
No, I'm sorry.
No, he said his is dead. He's out of booze. We can't hear you, Blake.
Okay, so anyways, there's always going to be a show for us to put out, whether it's the 3 things that get mentioned or one thing, and I take a lot of pride in our show having content that isn't the same crap, and week to week. And it's engaging and it's worth discussing, even if it's a little off topic. Like we've talked about content being created for MMOs and how the other formats like MOBAs, like Dota and Dota 2, we're drawing similarities and making it an engaging conversation. The show is always going to be here. The community needs to be badass and just stick together, and we'll keep trucking. We'll keep trucking on. Kind of goes on to the next question. Beetle, go ahead.
Yeah, this is the big speculation. So I almost talked about this today, and I kind of wanted to stay away from it. But Nine asks, the major thing I took from Wildstar Wednesday was, does this mean they push back the release? And in all honesty, God damn, I'm just saying lacely and honestly today. But in all honesty, it's been a long day. It can, definitely, but if their milestones incorporate for, less testing, if they get these things in and these new features are good and they're tight and they're ready to go, they can still release within a certain time period, yes, but honestly, I think we're pushing out to start of next year, yeah. My personal opinion.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to the next question, too, says, how long will it take for the next CBT to start? How does it go for release dates and events? I really think that it was looking like the end of the year. It's still potentially possible, but me, even as, the super excited fan, I'm not too worried about it. It'll come out when it comes out, and we'll get more information about the stability and where it's at, as things go forward from here. So,
all right,
we'll see.
Next question comes from Arlwolf, the Smelly Exile. What? Shots fired? God, shots fired is the thing. How do you think adventures will contribute towards character progression, i.e. will people be doing Elder Game raiding? People who are doing Elder Game raiding want to do adventures? I think they could provide incentives to do that, definitely.
Right.
But with what we saw on that Vine, it may be through their lifespan. Honors, what do you think?
I always say if you build it, they will come. So JTAL was talking about how they're working on items. We have no idea from a crafting standpoint. We have no idea from an itemization standpoint, pieces and parts. So even though a high-end raider like Blank and Beetle, they've got this amazing drop, they can wait for 16 more raids to get the best chip or slot in the game to go in it, or maybe they can pop down, grab a couple people, go do this adventure, and it's a percentage below, but they can get it right away. So there'll be people who use these as their outlets of creative, I want to explore the lore, this is the best I can do because I'm not part of the 1%. But then, depending on how it's itemized and how it's stocked, you could be bringing a lot of people to the table to go into these things. And the nice thing is that if you're like me, who's like, God, I need to find some people. Wait, here's some raiders that need to go in there and just grab a couple of things. Maybe I'll just tag along. So I really think that there's an opportunity for itemization and stocking of items and drops that would push a lot of people into these.
My comment is filler, kind of what Andre says, but is it going to be something that's just filler or fun? Is it for that? I don't know. I don't really think that you're going to be an endgame raider, because that's how the question comes across. You're going to go back and do an adventure. I feel like everything has its place, and normally what we're used to, again, Wildstar likes to throw friggin' curveballs and multi-layer these things. You got your dungeon, and then your heroic dungeon, and then your friggin' beginning raid. Putting the adventure in there, I would assume that the adventure would be underneath maybe your dungeon and then heroic dungeon, unless the only crazy speculation I have is that you say you're in a dungeon and it has a bunch of different wings. Maybe the adventure is to go in and do just something specific so that you can I only want the sword drop from this dude, but to do that I have to do all of these really crazy things and I don't have time in this dungeon, so I can just go back and maybe just do that little part. But I don't see it being something that is going to be filler content for those who are endgame raiding. I mean, that's just...
Right. Yeah. The longer J-Tal stays in chat, I think the more we're going to get out of him.
Boom!
Because...
he's no Donatelli with the way that he leaks, but he's got skills.
So
there are veteran modes of adventures.
Veteran mode of adventures, just like dungeons. So, hold on here. Veteran mode is just another nice way of saying hardcore. So, now... my mind is really racing because adventures is something you do for 2 hours or do for a while. It's supposed to be specific and different than a dungeon. So now where does that fit systematically? I don't know. I'm actually somebody else talk because I'm trying to figure out where the hell this go.
If you go literally based on the names of adventure, dungeon, raid, and you go based on that, adventure is something for possibly 2 to 5 players, a dungeon maybe around 10,
sure,
and raids around 20 and 40. And I don't know, J-Tal, if you want to go ahead and confirm that, but that's exactly what I think it is. Is adventures is for smaller party sizes.
Sure.
Well, I got a feeling that the adventures are going to be for the solo 1 or 2 group people getting together. I mean, if it's based on any types of the adventures that we saw in Rift, which is basically made for the solo player or groups of 2 and 3, for quick, fun adventures. As for how it can affect character progression, that's really going to come down to how it's itemized.
Right.
Veteran mode for... Wait. Sorry, brain is percolating. Veteran mode for adventures.
Brain is what?
Percolating. That's what coffee does.
Oh,
Veteran mode
okay.
is hardcore. So we're talking about progression of... and we don't know where these slot or sit. You have adventures, dungeons, veteran dungeons, raid. Is it possible that they're even more incentivized beyond that, where you do your adventure and then there's like your adventure and then there's hard mode adventure? Oh goodness, here comes something else. I keep looking over and I keep seeing this. Where I'm almost like somebody said, we're waiting for the next spoiler.
Matt, never mind.
Roll. Listen, guys, we have an exclusive.
Matt's
we have an
the
exclusive.
leaker, but not the way that you want.
More buttons on the UI.
Buttons. Yeah, absolutely.
I can't believe that.
Nice.
That
Don't
blew
worry,
my mind.
Dancer can fix that. She can fix
Here I
that.
thought they were going for tablet support and like 3 buttons, but
Nope.
shoot,
Buttons everywhere.
tablet
Veteran
support's the new
modes.
thing, Maddie.
Veteran modes sit in between those. Now, is it potentially impossible that you go into a dungeon or an adventure and there's a veteran mode? What if there are specific things where it's like, hey, you're going to come in here and there's like a side thing to it. That's the veteran part where it's like, okay, I know that this boss drops something. If I want to do the veteran mode of this adventure or the dungeon and get better crap, I have to kill all the mobs or I have to pick up all the bunnies or whatever it is. That is awesome. However, it makes me just kind of cry because it's that next level. We're not talking about simple 1 or 2 tier content. No. Now you're going to have to be like, oh, well, I could do this dungeon, which takes this amount of time, or I could do this veteran adventure, which could take me this amount of time, but it has this item, and that's just math. It makes my head hurt. Why do you guys do this? Anyways, go ahead. Go into the next question. Holy shit, what is this?
Yeah, let's do that. So, first question from
Couple
my
of
buddy
walls.
Rain is the walls of text, so I have to sum them up for everybody so I'm not sitting here reading. So Rain says, I know this isn't really important to the game, but would you guys like to see EverQuest-style scaling of spell effects as the player levels up? So saying level 5 Fireball may just have little thing, level 10 Fireball maybe has a bigger trail on it, level 15 is all of a sudden some crazy Hadouken, then you've got a Kamehameha, using little words, but I've personally always loved this idea. There was a Dungeons and Dragons hack and slash game back on the original Xbox that actually had a similar thing that if you collected shards, your sword would level up and change appearance, and I loved it, but I don't see it going into Wildstar because of the memory it could cause, the more spell effects they need to implement. It's an awesome idea, and I love it. And I think we had a conversation earlier about when, armor deteriorates, if it, starts showing scratches and nicks and dents. Yes, it's awesome. In an MMO scale, I don't see it. In a Skyrim scale, I see it. But that's just it for me.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add there is it's really cool to see the impact and things like that. And, your level 1, your Fireball is this little tiny thing, and then when you're max level, your Fireball looks super cool. Again, for what I'm understanding of how it goes into memory and all that other sort of crap, it's a pain in the butt. So it's just easier to have them all have the same sort of animation and just make the animation really cool the whole way up. So, we're getting wonderfully trolled here about the buttons. Go ahead. What is this?
This next one has numbers, so I'm going to let Uncle Honores take it.
No, can we just... We're skipping this. This is ridiculous. Listen, this question is long, and it's about leveling groups
it's about
and
mob
math.
density, actually. It's really ties to something that kind of came up above, and I think that...
How they split it.
It's way too early from the concept of... this is almost like behavior modification, where the perfect size group is 5 people in a group to farm mobs. If you do 20 people like a Dolak run, then you're going to actually see diminishing returns because of the sheer volume of people. I think it's way too early to tell. I hope there is some sort of negative effect to keep large amounts of groups, easy moding it. But, it's going to take time because, every time that they bring a 10-foot wall we'll find the 11-foot ladder to get the XP. So it's an ongoing battle. Look at that. There's some lanyard flashing going on.
Somebody
someone
was
said
talking about
lanyard.
it, so.
Yeah,
There
man,
you
I got
go.
all these keys. But, like, I agree completely, Honors. It's too early to tell. It's great speculation, Rain, and I love it. Blank's lazy, but keep your questions coming. Do not be discouraged from asking those types of questions. Rage Bear asks Blank, what is in the cup? I demand answers.
Jungle juice and vodka. Next.
Okay. Rafe asks, with the new changes, how do you think PvP leveling will be? BGs get experience per damage done. That's a really, really interesting question.
Yeah.
I actually hadn't thought about that at all. And I wonder if it'll be still like a match bonus type kind of thing. Blank, what do you think?
Balance. I have no idea. Exactly. Honors just said another thing too. It's got to be on a different scale, because if you go in and you're just smashing people, they have to try and balance that. And I guess the only way to balance that, looking at a design, is like, okay, a game takes this long to do, so there's this much amount of XP to give out to these many people, and based upon how much healing and damage they do, they get stuff like, that's all some math stuff, but a BG takes 15 minutes in the game world at a regular person's pace, or what was the name that they said for that? What was the...
Bob.
There was a name. What? Bob. You know, a Bob goes and does, you know, these quests and grinds on stuff for 15 minutes, gets this much XP. In a battleground, everybody gets this much. I have no idea how that would work. And Andres, I'm going to steal your response. How does healing mix into that too?
Yeah. I don't know.
It'll
I mean,
have
we
to be a
talked
different
about-
scale because...
Yeah, you're
just
gonna
has to
have to
be.
use. Yeah, you're gonna have to use a ruler over here and a yardstick over here, because, you know, again, if you've got 9 great players, you don't need to throw as many heals in to a team where you've got maybe 7 great players and 2 okay players. You still win the match. Hell, for, you know, maybe you don't dominate it as much, but the healer's working a lot harder for the same win. How does that work?
Mhm.
So.
I got a feeling I'll probably stay
All right.
just a flat match bonus.
Yeah, probably.
It'd be
All right,
too,
Rafe,
too much,
has another
too much
question.
calculation otherwise.
All right, Rafe's other question here. Do we think that grouping will be better with the new system? Like quests on tagging systems used to be kill 10 mobs, so a group would kill 10 mobs way faster than a solo player. Now the quests will adjust themselves for the size of the group for completion. Does that help grouping or not? If they're changing it, I think it's for the better. I personally wouldn't know, but if they feel a change is in order, they're going off of feedback, and it should make, you know, the new system. I hope that if you're asking if grouping will be better than playing solo, well, grouping in an MMO is generally better than playing solo in an MMO. That's just the nature of the beast. So I think this new thing will promote grouping, because there isn't the tagging. Well, I guess maybe I'm disagreeing with myself mid-sentence. If there isn't tagging, why do I need to group a la Guild Wars 2? If I'm still getting my credit, he's still getting his credit. No, I don't know. Right, don't confuse me.
Damn.
JTEL, the question about PvP and XP was, how is it going to work? If you go in, you do a shit ton of damage. How does that get balanced as a system? If you're in PvE and you're running around, you know, you've talked about that, but how does that affect what you're going to get in a game? And somebody said that, you know, it could be a flat amount. Okay, if it's a flat amount, then you're just trying to race to get it done so you can just get XP. It doesn't matter. I don't care if I win or lose. It's just like losing. We used to set up losing pre-mades on our alts because it was just easier to get the badges and shit that you needed. Even if it was a loss, it only took 10
Well,
minutes.
J-Tal just said in BGs you're considered grouped, so it would go with the
So
group
it's
mechanic.
group
So the percentages.
Yeah, it would go with the group mechanic.
So that brings in the healing question again. Yeah.
XP
More data is needed,
distribution
but
in a
good
group.
question.
XP distribution in a group is already based on the amount of damage the group does to a target and is shared amongst all members of the group.
So it's
Shared,
that's what
is it
they said in the
shared
Wildstar
evenly?
Wednesday. Yeah.
Yes, they're missing the word.
He's just quoting it.
Yes.
So if I go in with 3 super badass DPSs and we do a shit ton of damage and farm the shit out of somebody in their spawn, we come out with a crap ton of XP because of the damage. There has to be a cap or something. Anyways, we'll move on. Next one.
Then you just ask the questions, why should I play the objectives and not just farm the other team?
Yep.
But, that's just me being a meanie. All right. Oh, God damn it.
Yeah. Hey, Beetle, on this one, I would just say that, from what we've seen so far or talked about, do you feel like Wildstar is going to have to, get creative in the way they build dailies? Because, if they're going to be more creative in raiding and more creative and hopefully in crafting, dailies are the poison we know. So, this is a great example about asking us, what do you think? Is there room for more creative dailies?
And we're struggling again because it's another question from Rain and another block of text. And yes, Rain, when it comes down to dailies, I think they'll have a person dedicated to dailies, designing dailies.
Yeah.
Just as we said last week, there is a group of people most likely already getting these ready, designing the weekly rotations for certain raid bosses. They've got to be thinking about dailies already if they're implementing them. So they're probably thinking of their rotations and stuff like that already. It's a dev company. They plan ahead.
So just real quick, I was going to throw in that not only do you think that we have an opportunity for dailies just as an XP, but we haven't ever talked about what about dailies for paths. So, we know we have path XP. We know we can go up the ladder in our paths. Would path XPs actually come in there? It's hard to say.
All right. Next question is from Mr. Fallen Angel 85. I would like to know if L&D thinks about how they think group XP functionality will work out, meaning he always loves to play healer and buffer. Will this work out for pugging, or is it just pre-made groups? And we've touched on this throughout this already a little bit. Blank, what do you think?
Just it'll work out for pugging. You'll be able to see the content as you want if you're a solo player, and they're going to balance it. So the groups are also able to, go through the content at the same pace. And more than likely, pre-made groups that are effective at what they do will go through it quicker. That's what we're going to say. Next.
All right. Another one from Fallen Angel. Yep. Okay. Another one from Fallen Angel. 84. What is L&D's outlook on raiding and such with shared XP, also with the ability to buff housing plot prior to the raid, choosing one person to level up their home just for raid-oriented stuff? We've talked about having, even as our guild, like a plan of having, yes, there's certain people that can have their own houses, but we're going to designate certain people to like, hey, I'm sorry, but you are raid buff housing plot. You are this type of buff housing plot. You're the crafting housing plot. So setting those up in a way will help. And with the raiding shared XP with groups, I'm going to kind of divert to what J-Tal said. It's going to share it in the same way that their system's going to handle it, is a group shared XP filtering down. So evenly, unevenly, we don't know, because Honores doesn't want trickle. But, anything on that?
It's tough until we find more about actually even more housing. The example there's housings and home. Do you just buy up your home or do you level up your home? Because rich characters like me are going to be in demand for raids, even though I don't raid with the core team. If I'm sitting on, Scrooge McDuck land, and the raiders have all this experience, does money come into play to create we don't have guild halls, but my house is just pimped out, so everyone swings by the house, Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous house before they head out raiding. I leave out napkins and drinks and stuff as you guys just roam through my house and go. We just don't know yet about how houses are improved. I'm sure looking forward to it, though.
All right. Vuxy's asking a question here. Do you feel war plots should be the top tier of PvP gear? He feels it should be the same gear as Arena because of just because a crap ton of people are killing stuff doesn't mean they're more skilled than people in the arena. I agree with the skill thing, and I think we talked about this a little way long ago actually with our shows. Is I agree with you on the skill level thing, but if you're considering war plots a 1% type thing, why not have the gear be the best for it? I mean, that's a design choice by them. Yes, I mean, in all reality, as an arena player, should you not be able to outskill, let's say, 50% of the time, somebody in all war plots gear if you're in all arena gear, you know? So I'm definitely torn on it myself because I'm a skill guy, and I feel like if it's a group of me and 5 of my friends doing arenas and we're one of the best arena teams, I feel I should be getting the best gear. But if I'm that dedicated to it, I'm going to join a circle with my 5 friends, and we're going to lob on to somebody playing war plots and try to gain whatever currency it is and try to gain our gear that way. I'm going to go through alternate means to grab it. Honors.
I'll pivot on what the one word in your block of text that I was paying attention to was currency. Because, as the econ guy, you said a lot of stuff about skills and PvP stuff, and I kind of napped for a sec. But then you said currency, and then that made me think, oh yeah, that's good. So I don't know so far that we've learned that there is even different currency or the same currency. I mean, for all we know that the arena teams, if we're dealing with PvP, they could just earn, because their matches could happen faster and due to skill level and domination, they could earn X in this amount of time. And for all we know, it's the same currency, but 40 people can earn Y in a different format of war plot. So we don't know from the concept of spendable currency for items or whatever if it's going to be the same or not. We don't know. And so it's not really a fair apples to apples oranges, as in, it is, in my opinion, it does take a lot more skill to be dominant in arenas day in, day out than what I can visualize war plots to be. But I think that could be just a change in your earning potential, not necessarily even on the equipment and stuff. It seems like war plots, of course, are going to hopefully you're going to earn the custom little things we've heard about, raid bosses and things. So, I mean, there's going to be things that you just can earn in one and just earn in the other, but we don't know from the concept of itemization. We've heard the PvE versus PvP gear. We haven't heard war plot gear versus arena gear yet. That's a turn.
You're wrong.
Have we? I have not heard that.
You, sir, are wrong. There are 3 tiers. You will get your battleground gear, and you will get your arena gear and your warplots gear. And the best gear, no matter how it's purchased, will come from warplots.
I'd have to disagree with the concept of that, but yeah, go ahead.
No, well, then you're disagreeing with me, and game on. You want some shots fired up on my house. Let me tell you why I'm okay with that. Warplots right now is the top tier, and I'm going to liken it to something that may make me vomit in my mouth, and I apologize, but in World vs. World for Guild Wars 2, they had, and there was a suggestion a long time ago, I don't know who said it, but wouldn't it be cool if an entire guild or organization could fight in one Borderlands? That would be really cool. I'm going to liken warplots to something along that kind of a design or aspect. So you have this big thing with plugs and you fight and whatever. It's going to be more complicated than your arena. The battlegrounds, as we always know, and I hate to say this, are your stepping stone. They're where you learn your basics. They're where you learn how to heal, capture the flag, defend a point, destroy an object, go to the next one. There's tons of different PvP things. But when it comes down to it, they're having open world PvP, but a little smaller. Instead of just, and they're going to have that too, but they're giving that feel that a lot of really competitive guilds enjoy. You're able to take your guild, take 40 of your best PvPers. That's your arena teams. That's your battleground teams. Maybe it's your team that really enjoy the rated battlegrounds. Maybe it's your hardcore arena, 3s and 5s teams. And you put them all together and you make them work in teams of 40 people or 20 people. That's awesome, and it should give higher tier gear because it's more intricate. We're we're looking at a battleground, which is the first tier. Your second tier is your arenas. Your third one is battleground with arena objectives and crap and all these sort of things that are going to be going on. If you've got things that can be destroyed and plugs, it's not just going to be run forward, grab flag, come back. It's going to be a very intricate thing that you have to do. So it should give the best gear because it has the most overhead as an organization to do. Oh, goodness. What am I missing over here? Somebody said there's something going on in chat.
No.
No? Lies?
Just a drinking game when someone says shot fired, but
oh, goodness.
Yeah. Yeah,
hey,
we're going to probably
I just want to make a quick comment, and then we can move on. I was just going to spin back to your experience, Blank, is that is a soldier, is the skill of a soldier in a 5-man sub-small group or team, a small, let's call it a squad, is his skill lessened or improved and he's in a group of 40 for a platoon? Now, the individual skill set, the ability to shoot a rifle well, the ability to do his tasks, it's an individual skill. PvP, is your individual rating. Now, I think 40-man groups, I think the guilds can get more. The teams should get more. But the concept was, as me as an individual, my individual contribution, should that be more or less versus the individual's contribution that they had to put up in arena? So I agree it takes more nuanced and skill to run a 40-man versus a 40-man, but I'm selfish. What's in it for me in your 40-man versus what's in it for me in my arena? And so
J-Paul says they're really close either way.
I agree with Vuxy. Yeah.
They're really close. Cool beans. But then we'll talk about meta games of or battleground groups better for war plotting. But here, if you have, like I said, this is a PvP aspect. Your battlegrounds has an objective. So you go do your objective, whatever it is. It may have side objective, but it has one objective. Capture the flag, get the most points, whatever. Your arena is kill these, in Wildstar, they have 12 lives, kill them all. Okay, cool. You take step 1 and step 2, and now you're putting this into a more complex thing. So your group, as you put them, your 5 soldiers, your 5 PvPers, are now being placed in a more intricate. So they need an artillery section, they need a military police section, they need the people to. You need more coordination, you need more skill, you need better communication, and that is why that gear should give you the best, because it's not just a little of one or a little of other. It takes much, much more. We're not talking just about numbers. We're talking about the things that you need to do. Not only communicate, coordinate, movement, enemy contact when it happens, where they're going, what they're doing, how do you counter that? All of these things. You get the best for being the best and dealing with the most complex things. Sorry, but that's just, where the bear shits in the woods.
And I guess I'll just do the last thing before I move on and we can quit firing shots. But when you go down to like the soldier reference and the 5-man squad reference, even the best squad in arena, well, what if you have 8 of those squads in war plots? Are they not moving better as a cohesive unit in that platoon?
Sure.
Wouldn't you rather have, that's more complex? If you take the top 8 arena teams and throw them in a war plot and let those 8 5-man teams roam about and flank and maneuver and do what they want, that's how we ran World v. World in my guild, is we just went in 5-man teams. We never rolled as a big thing, and we would just say, all right, you guys are attacking straight, you guys are going to come in, and you guys come in if we're about to die. It's complexity, and I think that's, what it comes down to. All right, we're going to move on, because that one, you guys are sweet.
We got to finish up here. We got to finish these up.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna lightning round, huh? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rage Bear, how customizable do you think milestones will be? I think if it's a combination of both of these things that we've just saw, I think they will be a lot. Do you think PvP gear rewards? Do you think there will be PvP gear rewards for open world PvP? Open world PvP, as what they said with Whiteville, I don't think so. No.
Probably possibly
not.
As a resource, maybe get the general battleground resource for open world PvP, XP, bag loots, who knows? Maybe, don't know. Next.
What are your thoughts on PvP armor working for PvE and vice versa?
90% rule.
Yeah, they said there's going to be a 10%.
So.
Yeah, 10% transference between both. We'll see how it works out. Hopefully they're itemized so that they're specific to your skills and milestones, and so you're going to be using ambush in a battleground and not Sinister Strikes, lol, rogue, WoW reference. Next. Skip that one.
Since we know we will be getting trophies, etc. for our house, do you think there'll be a decorating profession? I believe it's already been said that there is an outfitter profession or something along those... Something that does build house items or is able to collect things to build certain house items. So yes, I do believe we are getting that. And do you think trophies will be connected to achievements? Because to me that makes most sense. I think some of them definitely will be. I don't think all will be. But there's no better way to show off an achievement than to have the actual trophy. And, okay. Now we're going to wrap it up. That was the end of the Chicken Talk questions. Thank you for dealing with me. Thanks for dealing with Rain Gaming's questions. But thanks again, guys, for asking all those questions. It lets us know what you guys are thinking, as well as, because we come up with all these topics and we start talking. We don't know what you guys want to know or what you're looking to talk about. So thanks a lot. I'll toss it to Blank to wrap us up here.
We did get the Vine video. What do we think it is? No idea. That's why we skipped it. So sorry about that, Rafe.
No clue.
We got to wrap up. We had a couple of shout-outs. Wanted to say to the Grievance Girls. They're a fun little streaming group. They love charity work. Some cool peeps. So go check them out. There was a huge thanks from Aegon to Onrez. They're both in here, LOL, for a fat settler pin. And
thanks, man.
Nice.
Thanks, Andres, for my
I
only piece of Wildstar swag.
Oh, man. Shots fired. All right, I'll stop saying it, sorry.
Chua jealous? Thank you to Onrez for showing up tonight. As you guys know, Nixus is moving to go finish college or do something. I don't know. So hopefully he'll be back sometime soon.
Starting college.
Follow the Twitch channel. Check us
12?
out on Twitter. And like us on Facebook.
14.
As always, this is your weekly Wildstar live vodcast. Always going to be here unless it's 4th of July. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all of you people showing up in chat. And
one more quick thing,
especially.
Mike.
Yeah.
I love how we still talk shit about Nixon. He's not even on the show.
When he's not here.
He's gonna like watch it and be like, guys, really? Come on. God.
Nixus, he's the one that complains a lot, right? That's what J-Tal just said.
That's it. Yeah. He's the mime.
He comes up with smart things, and then he says, like, it's kind of like Cube World. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. You're done. Again, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoy this. We'll see you guys next week. And, again, if you're going to PAX Prime, check out the Twitters. We're going to meet up. We're going to have some good times. We're going to check out some panels, and we're going to steal all the swag. Till next week, this is Blank Space. I'm going to see you guys later.
See you, folks.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.